How's it going, everybody? We're back again for another special episode of the Mescal Buzz Experience. It's been some time that I've done an episode, so this is a really special one because as you can see, this is the most guests I've had on at a time. I got some very special guests that we've been trying to get on for a while. I got Esteban, Ernie, and Moche. We're here to do a very special episode. We're talking about being nervous right now, guys. Like, I'm nervous right now trying to introduce you guys. We got Esteban Mezcal Papi. If you're not following him yet, follow him. He has just over 80,000 followers. He's kicking it down with some awesome cocktails, mobile bar service. If you're following him, I don't need to tell you. You know what's up. Follow Mescal Papi. We got Ernie from LA. Oh my gosh.
Liquid Courage.
Liquid Courage. What? I was going to say LA Sips. I'm like, yeah, Liquid Courage, LA. You're really doing some badass bespoke events, really another level, high class events, running a team of several teams, right?
Yeah.
So, and we got Moche Sips. Also follow him on Instagram. Also putting down some great cocktails, some consultations, putting together bar programs. Is that right? And really bringing the community together. Right? This is how we all came together as well through Agave Spirits.
Oh, but it's some work, sir.
No, you're putting in work, dude. The three of you guys are putting in work, so I'm very happy to have you guys on. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us, brother. Thank you for having us. Excited to be here, man. Thank you.
Cool. So today we're going to taste 5 different mezcales. We're going to have some cool topics to talk through each one, and I think we should just get started, right? I'm
ready.
I'm talking.
Yeah, you're ready, man.
Yeah. Very cool.
I can't ready to drink.
Yeah, I need to see it. So first we're going to start it off. This is a brand that I've worked with in the past. I continue to work with. I want you guys to try Mezcal Campante. This will be our first pour. This is Mezcal Ensamble. This has Barril and Espadin. And it comes from Ejutla, Oaxaca. This is 40% ABV. I'm going to pass this down. This is a really balanced mezcal that I think is a great one to introduce people to. But at the same time, it's a great one to sip for those that enjoy mezcal. So I thought this would be a great start. And they're really doing a lot of work as well, working with different people in the industry. So you guys that are doing cocktails and events and things like that might be a cool brand to introduce. You got it ready?
Yes.
See, I'm already
Yeah. Well, 80 proof. I mean, I take it they're trying to keep it friendly for consumers.
Great point. Yeah, and towards them. That's what you guys think.
It's pretty light, It's pretty good.
That's good. Do you know if
I got
split is on the Espadin? You know if it's 50-50 or 80?
Great point. I don't know. A lot of people ask. I've been asked several times. They say it's proprietary. They don't want to say. I personally think it's definitely more Espadin. You could taste Espadin a lot in it, actually. It's more Espadin. Also for the fact of just how abundant Espadin is, and for the barril being semi-wild agave.
Yeah.
Takes longer to mature.
They don't want to cut down too much butter. They did either.
So, I mean, it's a guess. It's a guess.
It's introductory. It's nice. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
this one, as being the introductory mezcal for today's conversation, I want to talk with you guys and really give you a chance to talk about, for me to learn some more about you as well, but also for our audience to know, what is it that you guys exactly do in your own words to the audience, and how'd you get started? What's your background? How'd you get involved in mixology, the spirits industry, and agave spirits?
I got into this industry right around COVID. I wanted to step away from sales and get into owning my own business and stepping into something independent. And then I was going to open up a sandwich pop-up shop because I like to cook. So that was my goal. I was going to go out on the street, get a little cart, get a little flat iron, and just get to it. And then COVID came. Couldn't go out there. I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't do anything, right? So then I got into hospitality, which was still a finger to me because I couldn't deal with it. But once it did open up, I remember stepping into bartending and I was just overwhelmed. I saw spirits, liqueurs, syrups, juices, and all that shit. And I was like, what the fuck? It was so much fucking shit. This was at the California Pizza Kitchen. And I stepped into it, and within like a week or two, I just realized that I really fucking fell in love with it. This was also around the time that I'd already developed like a likeness to mezcal and agave, and I already had my hand in there, so I really was enjoying things and spirits. But the more I got into it, the more creativeness I was able to develop and find my own little niche. And I started to copycat a lot of people I looked to and a lot of influencers and a lot of bartenders. And I would just like see cool shit and I would just mimic it. I'm like, let me just try to put in, or maybe put my riff on it. And I learned real quick that people in the hospitality industry don't like overachievers. They don't.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to do. I was doing my own little splits and riffs on things, and my regulars were loving it, and the people that I worked beside, they were like, "The fuck."
Why do you think that is? Do you think that they were not on that same level as you, as trying to do that, or
I mean,
like comfort?
So for me, one thing I've always been since young, bro, I've been a shark. I've been a hustler. I always try to overachieve. No matter what industry I'm in, I try to make sure that I become superior. Especially specifically work, right? Because if I'm doing more, I'm getting paid more. So that's always in my niche. I got 2 kids. I got to make sure there's food on the table. So for some, it's just like that. Either you're a hustler or you're not. And if you're not, that's fine. You want to make it day by day. You want to push through that. That's fine. But I always like to I strive for more. Simple as that. And as I progressed, what I thought was just going to be also to make a quick buck, I started to fucking develop, concepts and ideas and a standard as to how I service. I always engage with people. I communicate and I build rapport. And I realized that I really found a passion in that, So when I met Ernie, which we'll dive into later, but I met Ernie and then I found another guy that it was like, literally, it was ideal. We both had a mentality that's like, strive for more, give customers the best fucking time ever, and knock it out the park.
Dope.
But, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to shift a little bit with Ernie. So when you met Ernie, do you remember when you met Moche, where were you at? And how did you get into the space like this? Or how are your origin story?
So the way Moche and I met, and it also relates to Esteban, is we met through social media. And, he reached out to me like, hey, if you ever need somebody, like I'd be down to help you out. And I was like, all right, cool. I have my friend's event coming up.
Were you already Liquid Courage LA and already doing so? Okay.
This was what, 2022?
Yeah. Yes.
2022.
Yeah.
So he came and he helped me out. We did one of my best friend's son's birthdays. And what's crazy, shout out my boy Danny. We connected off of mezcal. So he brought a bottle of cascanes. And at that time, I feel it was like when I was really like trying to test mezcal. And I think I brought a bottle of like La Luna. Yeah. And so I brought La Luna because I felt like it was very friendly for everyone else to try if they did want to try mezcal. And so I brought it, and him and I had a few sips, and we meshed just off that. But that was 2022. Liquid Courage started 2017. And the way I got into it was, growing up, I always had like the passion to make drinks. One way or another, I was always making something for friends, family. It's kind of like some people are dedicated cooks. Like, Pops is or Unc's gonna grill because they do it the best. Not that I was the best, but I was always a dedicated guy who would make drinks. And so I built a little passion for it. And so 2017.
Did you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but were you working also in hospitality and you were making drinks, or you were just at home, you like to make the drinks and it just naturally?
Yeah, it was actually just at home.
Badass.
My background is insurance. So I did commercial property insurance.
Dope. Okay.
So I was a desk office type dude. Low-key thought I was going to retire there. And then I got into spirits, got into cocktails. Liquid Courage started, and never expected it to be what it is today. It was always meant to be a side hustle. But as I learned more about the industry, learned more about the craft, and I met more people, I started to develop a really big passion for it. And so I started to just dedicate more, started to learn more, just kind of like Moche said, like you start to see like other bartenders or,
seeing a society.
Yeah.
It's fucking big.
It's huge. And once you get into the industry, you really get to see how wide and how much you can do. And it's really cool. So that's how we kind of grew. I just started to dedicate 2021. I quit my full-time job to pursue bartending full-time. And at that point, I wanted to shift not only myself because I gave up such a great career, So I kind of challenged myself, like, how could I do bartending and take it to the next level to at least make up for what I was making at my corporate job. And so the only way I could do that was to expand my team. So at that point, we decided to take on more events. Like, how can we get more events? I need more people to help me out so I could do multiple events per day. And that's kind of how we started.
You think your background in the insurance world and that like environment of like team building is something that helped you transition into knowing to make a team and how to quickly scale? Because stepping away from like a career and a full-time job and things that you have to what you call the side hustle, that's like a big step that I know a lot of people watching. I myself sometimes think like, when does that moment come, right? Like I hear like motivational podcasts and stuff often, and so sometimes it's like, take the risk, like you got to bet on yourself, and that's scary. That's one thing. And then some people are like, you got to be ready once you reach a certain level and it's safe to like. So for you, what was that like? What?
I don't necessarily think it was that my last job, but I did dabble in real estate, and I tell everyone that's where I learned all my social skills, was through real estate. Because what they did is they have like this rules called prospecting. They're huge on sales, huge on customer engagement, because that's how they make a living, right? They have to approach people in order to make sales. So that's kind of where I learned how to approach people, how to talk to people, how to let people know what I do. And even to this day, I still have this rule. It's anyone within 6 feet around me, I'll somehow find a way to tell them what I do. And it's just something that has always stuck with me. And it's just the simplest thing. I never knew that it was a thing, but these guys are sharks. Real estate agents are sharks because they have to make that sale. And they find ways to spark conversations,
Yeah.
And so they would take me around to like Starbucks or like Targets, and just, they'd approach people like, hey, I like your shoes. Dude, like, where'd you get them? And that one conversation, like, hey, my name's Adam, or my name's Jose. I do real estate. If you ever need someone, like, let me know. And I was just like, whoa, like that easy?
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it does help when you practice it enough.
You said something important that I've worked with a lot of real estate as well, realtors and stuff, and I do video as my background. And one thing that I heard that stuck with me that you mentioned right now too is always like, you want to work with people, you want people to hire you and call you, you got to tell people what you do, because they're not going to know if you don't tell them, like the purchase. But that's why realtors always be like, you're at the family table and your tia or your cousin is like, oh yeah, I sold my house. It's like, dude, I'm an agent. Why didn't you call? It's like, you don't tell me about it. You don't talk about it. Like, your own family and friends won't know. So it's like, tell people what you do. And so that's dope how you take that experience from the different walks of life and it applies to what you do today. Esteban, what about you, Mescal Papi? How'd you get to where you're at so far?
I mean, I started back in 2018. That's when I first took the decision to start my mobile bartending business. But it all started back in like 2016 when I was working at a restaurant in Beverly Hills as a busser. And I kept going into the bar. I would see that it was like those like fun atmosphere. I wanted to like move in there. So I met one of the bartenders in there. That was pretty cool. I asked him like if he ever needed help, like if you need somebody to help you out, I'm willing to learn and, move in. And then I started helping him out. I became a bar back after that. I started learning how to bartend. He taught me a lot, actually. So then after that, I bartended for like lunch hours. So I was able to like, work my way up. 2018, and that's when I, started my business. I started with a business cards, and then I opened my Instagram, and then that's kind of like how Mescal Papi came about. It was more for fun. It wasn't like something like that I wanted to call myself like for years. It was like I saw that Drake had started his Instagram account, and he was like his name was Champagne Papi. So then I got the idea from there, and I was like, yeah, I'll just call myself Mescal Papi. But because of Mescal Papi, like that name came because I started sipping mezcal, and I really enjoyed it. So around that time, that's when I kind of like just decided to call myself Mescal Papi. But since 2018, I've been bartending, making margaritas. COVID came, 2020, 2021. 2021 is when that like my business kind of skyrocketed because we didn't have no events. Like nobody was doing any events, nobody was going out. I had to figure out a plan of like how to put my name out there again and start all over, like promoting my business. So like I just decided, start sharing recipes on my page. And that's when I started posting recipes like almost every day in my mom's kitchen.
Were you already Mezcal Papi doing mobile bartending, or did you start doing the recipes first?
So Mescal Papi was already like, as soon as I started my Instagram account, that was my name. That's what I put as my username.
But you were already working your mobile bartending service too, like you are?
Prior to that, like 2018 was when I started mobile bartending.
Okay.
And that's how I came up with that name, my business name.
The name's dope, man.
It's just solid.
How? What do you think it was? Do you guys want a little bit more? Do you want Want to go to the next one? Because I could keep talking and then I forget to serve mezcal. So
I'll do a little more.
I love it when I get served over. You do all this, so serve me up, and then we can swing runs the other side.
Cool, yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you though, Esteban, like, how did it lead to your massive following, man? That's one thing that I wanted to ask about. Is
so my thing was like promoting my business. So I started just sharing recipes. Like I was like, I gotta find a way to like just share on my page something. I want to put content out there. But the thing is, I didn't have any content of me bartending because of COVID. I didn't want to use old videos. And even before COVID, I wasn't really bartending like that. It was more of my side job. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have that much content. So in 2021, I started posting recipes. I started tagging tequila brands and like mezcal brands, and then they would see my stuff and they'll repost it. And then I guess I'll start getting in the algorithm, and some of those videos that I posted like started going viral. One of them was the 818 tequila. So, I mean, I don't even drink it. It was just more of like me trying to find my way to like get exposure.
Yeah,
I through the internet. So great marketing. I was just like, I'm gonna tag them. There was a bottle at one of my events, and I had made a cocktail, and I had put one of my cocktails on the bar, and I put the bottle like right next to it, and I just did a video, went on Instagram, put a trendy sound, and I tagged them, and then they reposted it. They reached out to me actually like a couple of days after. They're like, hey, we like this cocktail. Can you make a video of it using our tequila? And I was in shock because it's like the Kardashians tequila. And actually,
you're like, is this
Kendall? No, actually, Kendall liked my post, and I was like, dude, that's crazy, So, yeah, I did a video for them, and then like I probably had like 2,000 followers at that time, and like after a week, after I made the video and they reposted it, and then after I made a video for them and they posted it, probably had like 10K followers after that. So that was just my way of like putting my name out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you guys want to go ahead and give some thoughts on this?
This is awesome.
This brand's called Burero. This is a cuprata from Guerrero. It's from Mochitlan, Guerrero, and way different than what we just tasted.
It's exciting. I like a lot of stuff from Guerrero. Always has that nice funk.
Yeah, the funk. Yeah, for sure. A lactic funk.
Oh, yeah, the funk.
Some spices.
Pure. Yep.
It's funny because right now when we were smelling this one, I kind of get like a raspberry smell on this one today. I didn't get it before, but right now It's like a sweetness.
I get berries, kiwi.
I get a little bit of tomato.
Tomato.
It's a
Tomato.
It's a reference to like an internet thing. So I was it's just get a little bit of tomato.
Oh, the little girl, like tomato in a ramen. Oh, what did she say? That little spice. Yeah, a little spice. Little hint of tomato. Like we're the hints. Yeah, a little hint of. That's a good one.
Yeah, try to go for
That's me right there. To be honest, like every time I try like a new mezcal, like I don't really know the notes. My nose isn't really good, so
Yeah.
I try my best.
Just remember, everyone's notes will be their own.
Yeah. To me, this is like super peppery.
Mm.
Almost like a spicy,
Yeah, so
or fresh cracked pepper type.
And the interesting thing too, like mezcal being one of the most complex spirits too, it's made like of 85 different chemical compounds, but like all the mezcales have some or the others of like these certain compounds that exist. So a lot of the things we smell, like you said, they're going to be different to our nose, different to our palate, but we're smelling the same aromas that are there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like even on the taste, for example, I like to break it down to our simple 5 tastes that we have. There's only sweet, there's sour, there's umami, there's bitter, and salty. Those are the only tastes that we taste. From there is where all the other descriptors come, right? Like, it's sweet. Oh, cool. Sweet like what? Sweet like spice to me. Sweet like berries, or sweet like fruit. Dope. I get fruit too. What fruits do you get? I don't know. I get citrus, or I get apple. So it's the more and more we practice it and develop it, it becomes interesting. Those conversations just
I get
become dope.
cornbread on the taste.
On the taste?
Yeah.
I get something super fruity.
Like minty in the back, no?
Definitely minty. Yeah. On that initial, like on that first sip, I don't know, something super, super fruity to me.
I get some major sweetness too.
Yeah, that's where I get the cornbread from, like butter, swag butter.
But I do have to say this is really good.
And the other one that we tasted before, 40% ABV, to me, it was a little more prickly, a little rougher than this one. This one coming in at higher ABV, I think 48, I want to say
45 or
45.
Yeah. I wish it was at 48.
We'll get there. But this is it's a lot of times people think that because it's a higher proof, it's going to be like, oh, it's like, but we get into these higher proofs sometimes and it's not as rough. It's just more of flavors. And
Yeah, that's a misconception. A lot of folks have always thought that the higher the proof, the more burned. But with certain spirits, at least well-made spirits, you know, you're going to have more quality, more taste, more notes. And you'll be able to, you know, when you cut it down with water, you're literally taking away all the taste. You know, so.
dude, this one's fire.
That's really good. I don't think I've ever had that. I really enjoyed that.
Nope.
Oh,
I
and
know it's a gem, bro. They be dropping some stuff.
another talking about like mezcal and stuff here and like comparing our notes. Oh, I bust the Cardi B like turned off like a robot. Did you see? I was like,
I turned away. I didn't want to put them on blast.
you'd be like, speak. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. It's funny. You guys probably can't see. I have like notes here, and I'm like trying to stick to the notes, but like we're just freestyling and like going. Yeah, I mean, I might throw them out, but we're talking about the techniques that you use to like blow up the IG. Was it yeah, we were just talking about that, how the IG blew up.
Marketing.
How do you guys look at working with brands and stuff? It's like, do you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? What are some?
We are fortunately blessed to be where we are right now in the city. We are in the Mecca, bro. We are in the capital of tequila and mezcal brand owners, distributors. Everything is at arm's reach for us. And we're very thankful for that. You know, one thing that I think that when Ernie and I tapped in, we became a duo. And the things that we did was because we met a lot of folks through LAX Mezcal Club, which we're a part of, LA Tequila Club, which we're a part of. And we were able to meet Salvador, Flor, Leo, Raquel from Rufina Mescal. You got Salvador's Mescal. You've got, we've got the folks from the distributors like Charissa and Paul for Tequila Ocho and Bago Mescal. I mean, the list really.
Yeah.
Shout out to Salvador's Mezcal though. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Myra from Hacienda Fuego, Leo, from Moche Mescal. We've never even had a personal introduction, but we met through online friends. Like, so one thing, and I keep saying this, and I always circle back to this, is we are in a pivotal point where agave is growing and it's fucking evolving and branching out to so many places. But home is where the heart is, and in Los Angeles right now, if you want to meet someone in this industry, this is the place to be at.
Yeah.
So for a lot of folks, one thing that I started doing last year was I was doing bar takeovers, and it would consist of in the systematic approach that a lot of brands have where they do tastings, and you pay a cover fee and you go and you have a flight and you taste, and a lot of times those tastings turn into just people shooting and just come to get fucked up. So I figured if we're gonna counterpart that, let's flip it, and we were doing a special cocktail hour, but with music playing, cocktails specified to the brands, and we'd make an exciting cocktail, introduce it as such, and then the brand owners or the distributors or the brand ambassadors can be amongst the crowd, and then they could say, "Hey, is this nice? Do you like this?" And then they can introduce themselves and make an approach a lot different than they would in a tasting. So I did that last year, and then I got overwhelmed with work. We're going to circle back around this year, but that was an approach that I was using, one, because we were working with brands that we love and we consume, and it was a way to support them to build their growth.
Yeah.
So we've discussed working with bigger brands, which we've also scolded ourselves and say, like, let's not turn business now.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, for me, it's been working with smaller brands, and it's exciting.
And one of the questions was going to be that is like, why do you guys think the popularity of agave spirits has grown so much? And especially, that was a great point, is like a lot of the smaller brands compete in the market with the bigger brands. They might not have as much of the market share across, the size of the market, but locally, or like right now, like in LA, like a lot of these little brands are building solid followings, and people learning about them and really like diving in and becoming like loyal fans. What do you guys think is it that about mezcal in the cars?
I mean, I think it falls into a few layers, right? And one is organic. People want organic, and when they think of smaller brands, they think it's more true to their origins. They think it's properly sourced, it's made better.
Properly made, yeah.
Yep, which they're not wrong, Another thing is, I also think that people are taking time to drink their cocktails now. They're ordering cocktails, right? It's not Red Bull vodka no more. It's not tequila soda or AMF or fucking Long Island. They're actually ordering cocktails like a Last Word, or making a famous, a proper old fashioned. People order.
Think with that note, do you think cocktails is still a very powerful, or like the most, I don't want to say common, but like the strongest introducer to the spirit? And then do you think people are turning to drinking it neat, or is it still like cocktails is the...
Well, to kind of piggyback off of what Moche was saying, I also believe that social media has a huge play in the growth of agave spirits. And it's definitely, I believe, in the era of the pandemic where everyone was home, and alcohol sales were through the roof. Alcohol never died, never took dip during the pandemic. It was at all-time high. And that's when I believe, even myself, I started to learn more, because it was in front of my face. I was at home. I had nothing but time to go and, learn and go buy stuff. And that's personally where I learned a lot about the agave brands, mezcal even more. And following with the question you just asked about cocktails, I still believe to this day that cocktails is the way to introduce any spirit to anyone.
100%.
It is the easiest way to not only have someone try it, but it's also a great way to complement the profile of what you're trying to introduce. For us, it's worked. For me, as a mobile bartender, it's a little different, because we usually show up and it's like a set menu, right? Opposed to going to a bar where you can kind of order wherever you like. It's for us, it's different. So that's kind of how we approach, and we allow people to try different spirits is through our cocktails, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to be like, hey, if you've never had mezcal, I definitely would recommend, this pairs really well with mezcal. If you already have tequila in it, we can just always substitute mezcal. And so that's, at least for me, that's how it's worked, and that's how I've been able to push it in front of my clientele and my followers. And of course, working with the brands, definitely helpful. And it's cool because not only do we support the brands, but the brands support us. And a lot of the times when we may need something, or we want to shoot content, or for whatever reason we're having a fundraiser, charity, these guys are always willing to help us. And vice versa, whenever they may need something, they need cocktails made, they need content, they reach out to us also, and we're able to make something work. And that's the good thing and cool part about, again, being in the Mecca and also working with the small brands. I can't say I've been approached by too many big brands on that aspect, but I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that note, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to bring the next spirit in. How do you guys approach your cocktails? If it being a great way to approach a spirit, like for example, right now we're going to taste Casa Kumari. This is a sotol. We're going from Guerrero. Now we're going to Durango. You guys might know that the sotol is, it's not classified in agave. So that's a real big popular conversation right now. Like, it's not agave, it's sotol. And sotol is the decilirium. And it's not an agave anymore. But for the longest time it's been, and it's still in the agave spirits class, right? But, yeah, exactly. The
Cucharillo is a lot of mezcal brands have been making little blends, and it's fucking exciting. But Extras dropped a batch of Cinco Sentidos with Cucharillo and Espadino. It was really good.
And in Oaxaca, the mezcal cucharillo is known as a mezcal, and the cucharillo is a sotol.
Yeah, see, for me, that's been one of the biggest homework assignments I had, was finding out the varieties, and then the difference in different regions of Mexico, how the names change. Because for me, I'm from South America, I'm from Peru, so I wasn't local to this. I didn't grow up to none of this. I still remember when I really fell in love with mezcal, which was I was at a little restaurant in North Hollywood, maybe 2013 or something, and I had little lobster lined up, little lobster tacos paired with the bartender was like, do you like mezcal? I was like, well, I don't really have, I haven't had a real journey with it, and gave me a flight. I want to say like Madre and
Cuatrocientos.
No, it was they didn't do me like that. No, it was then my Maguey and Madre, and I was so excited to buy it. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, it had a little bit of heat to it, but it was heat that I would still welcome. Like, those two brands will always have a place in my heart, because those were the two that for me I was like, this is dope.
Hey, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but this has like a smell of like evaporated milk. Or like that term is that I don't know what to describe it, bro. But
As I'm smelling it,
is it exactly? That's what I got. I got the whiff of that. I just thought about my kids when I used to make them their bottle. I'm like,
yeah,
when yours smells like that shit, I can say,
Yeah. To me, this smells very heavy, like licorice.
I know. It smells briny.
I get briny's a good one. I often smell like anise or like black licorice, almost.
Oh yeah, that hit.
But that's our kid's favorite, right? That little black licorice. And make your kid's day, come out with some black licorice. Salucita. Notice how they don't cheers me, brother. Just alcoholics, and they just drink.
Yeah.
Damn, you caught us. Questions: how would people know about the bottles? Like, where to get them after? Like,
Interesting. So these bottles that we've tasted up to now, I've learned about them all on social media as well. They reached out to me. This Casa Kumadi, I learned about them when I was in Mexico City. So I would always frequent the Mezcal Fest that were out there. And so there's a lot of brands that are in Mexico that are still not exported out here. So Casa Kumadi, my relationship with them started there and on social media. They actually made this come to me, get delivered to me. They had somebody that brought it over. So I am kind of sprinkling some brands to you guys here that it's not going to be
I think that's
easily.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, one that's not on the list today, but one that we have back here is Moche, and that's not distributed out here yet. And then, like the Rufina, for folks that do drink mezcal, that's a lot of people know that they're usually small batch. This is not a small batch. This is a micro batch. Like in that bottle, 118 out of 120.
Nice. And like the other two brands, just to just say, like Campante, Mezcal Campante is distributed here. I did some work with them, so you could find them in some of the local stores. And then also Burero from Guerrero, they are distributed. They're out of San Diego. And so those...
See, for me, that's the exciting thing is it's almost like, and I guess maybe and I think we all fucking can vouch on this, we've all been sneakerheads, right? But like, I like having shit that nobody has.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly where I feel the agave.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was.
is
that most of the dudes in LA that transition, it's like we were all, the majority of us, especially the Latino, you were a sneakerhead at some point between the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and then, your closet was stocked and your bar was not.
now it's opposite.
And then 2020 hit, like you said, and fucking, we started doing like all our homework. We were paying attention. Lucas had a great platform and still does. I remember seeing Lucas before I met him. I was like, oh, this dude knows some shit. I want to pay some fucking mind. And we went on that journey. We went on that fucking journey. We started finding these things. And again, I think the blessing for us was brands that I was coming across that I was finding interest in. I ended up meeting these people, and it was just like, now it's a normal thing for me to chop it up with these folks.
This is like a Pokemon collection type of.
Yeah, they saw like, you don't have this. I got this. I got that rare shit. Yeah, exactly.
Right now it is, though. It is. It's funny that you say that, because right now, like on Instagram, I'm doing a mezcal challenge, and I'm tasting a different mezcal every day. And I'm getting there, dude. I'm still with it. But the funny thing is, I have a lot of stuff in boxes still, and it was like a Pokemon feel. Like I'm gonna go. Yesterday I did one with Aguerrido. It was their 4th year anniversary of their co-op that they had, and I was like, I'm gonna get one of the pechugas because I know I have a pechuga from Don Refugio. So I went to my little storage. I started pulling, and it was like a Pokemon moment where like I had to dig through some boxes, and as I was looking for that one, I was like, wait, when did I get this one? Where did this one come? I was just finding more stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got more days ahead of me. I don't know how far I'll go. I don't have 365 bottles of mezcal, right? So,
I mean, we keep on that. Yeah, these brands are I'm sending.
But one cool thing that you're saying is about like learning about all the different brands, like the odd ones, and sometimes just not brands, just the producers that are producing small micro batches and stuff. And I think it's really great about social media is one way to discover brands. And then a lot of brands and like big brands, they have more accessibility or ways to reach more people. So I think if we do our homework and really start looking, you start to find other brands, and it's like, hey, I want to try, because it's not so much like a brand thing, right? It's like, who was the producer? What region is it from? What agaves are being used? And then, just the different regions will start to have different flavor profiles on how they produce and stuff. So this is fantastic. With that said, we were kind of talking about approaching cocktails and stuff. How do you guys approach cocktails? Like if you are given this spirit, right, the Sotol by Casa Kumali, like, do you guys taste spirits, and do you think cocktails? Do you think like how?
I kind of know this, what I would make with something like this.
Yeah,
definitely.
You want to know?
Definitely be something stiff, either like a like a Negroni, just because it's a little more on the bitter side, drunker side.
You don't like Negronis.
I love Negronis. At least that's where I would lead. I based on the notes, I don't think I would personally be able to mix anything on the fruitier side. I definitely would serve this something stiff, just to keep that super flavor up front.
Cool.
I know Moche is great at his cocktail curation type stuff, so I'm sure this guy can probably whip something up with this. It'd be great.
I would go fruity.
Yeah. This is where we. I go stiff. This guy goes fruity.
But he always says he doesn't want to drink any. All his drinks are stiff the fuck.
Probably do a paloma with this one.
With this one?
Yeah.
No great.
Just not, don't add too much flavors on it, you know. There's a little bit of grapefruit, agave and lime, and squirt.
And with that, so like one thing when we first smelling it, you were and the smell you were talking about condensed milk and kind of funky. Would you say that the flavor tasted like that too?
No,
Or
no, I just got it on the smell, on the nose.
and that's one cool thing about mezcal is that I find a lot too, and especially right now that I'm tasting like every day is like sometimes I'll get that mezcal that I'll smell it. The aromas are giving me these aromas. These things are coming to my mind. I'll taste it and it's like, yeah, that's what that. And then sometimes I'm smelling it. I'm like, smells like XYZ. And then I taste it and it tastes like ABC. You know what I mean? Like something way different. And it's like, yo, that's sick. Like it's always a journey, no matter what you're tasting. If you're really just like in there smelling, letting it sit.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is like memories, right? Like it's definitely something like when you smell something,
Takes you back.
yeah, when you think of stuff like what's it smell? We're thinking of our experiences. Where have I smelt this? And like, dude, it just wakes up different memories or dreams or
The burrero for sure. There's that taste now. I swear, something I've had before. I'm sitting here like, man, what is it? What is it? And then you get it on my head.
Some people are really good at pulling that out, man. But yeah,
So yeah, some people have some really good palates, and they have some really great tasting notes.
love a mezcal, man. Danny and Monique Glenn cares notes. You know, like some people can pick up crazy. For me, whatever I pick up instantly is what I'll stick to it. If I revisit, sometimes it'll give me something else. But you know, like again, like the homie Hector said one time when I was really like, yeah, he was introduced me to a bunch of stuff, and he's like, it's simple. Do you like it? Do you not?
Mm-hmm.
Don't overthink it. You know, and that's exactly what I say to this day. I also like to let, just like wine, I like to let bottles breathe. So I never put judgment towards a bottle when I first open it, because I think the best, you know, introduction will be your revisit. That second time opening that bottle, that's when everything starts to, you know, a little bit of air opens it up and oxygen and whatnot, and
even later when you revisit things like today, the kumali, for example, tasted really good to me, and you were mentioning the condensed milk. It tasted, I got some a little bit of funky lactic notes as well, and I don't remember that from the first time I tasted it. That little lactic funkiness, or yeah. And it's what's cool is that I'm working on a tasting journal right now. I don't know if you guys seen. I've shared it a couple times on like my IG. I just came out with a V2. Like I really worked out like the way it's gonna work through. But the point of it is like to document like the stuff that you're tasting. I really simplified how it works through. But then to revisit it again, and then we look at it, and it's like. It's one thing to always just be tasting and like, oh, I remember, but it's kind of interesting to me. I like to measure results.
and then mind you, things what you taste when you first pour will change within 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just sitting, right? Like you said, you like to let the wine breathe and things like that.
I see all that stuff. I mean, it opens up.
What do you guys think it's about agave spirits that sets it apart from the other spirits in the industry right now? That like, do you see people always coming up like, I want a mezcal cocktail or like something with tequila, or like is it set apart?
Mezcal is prom queen right now for bars. Like if you're going to a bar on a constant basis, if you're going to it bars, trendy bars, you know, it's funny because the majority of these bars, unless you're looking at me out there or someone that actually has an agave program, but they're always going to have a mezcal cocktail. Now it may not be a great mezcal brand, but they have it because of popularity. People want mezcal right now because it's the it factor, right? So when
But do you see it like do you think it's gonna go away?
I don't.
The it factor of it?
I don't. I think that it's going to continue to develop and evolve simply because it's barely cracking through the door. You know, whiskey, the way I see things as far as a consumer myself, is in the early 2012-13, craft beer started to take off. IPA, hazies, stouts, double, triple IPAs, Pilsners, all that, Belgian ales, all that. And it was coming in, and then it crashed. Because what happens is bellies, breweries were going to shit, people were getting too fucked up. And then whiskey was like, okay, cool. Our doors opening again and whiskey was coming back in. But somehow, some way, I think, again, a lot of it goes 2020. Agave came in and it was like, nah, dog, like this is our turn. And agave came and ripped open the door. Tequila came, non-additive products came. Brands that literally have been on the shelf for years finally were getting the recognition they deserved. And mezcal was like, hey, I'm here too. And bartenders, I think, were the ones that really opened up the platform mezcal because they started to utilize the mezcal, espadins, and so forth, and make cocktails with them. That, for me, if you ask me, I think mezcal works with bitter. I think it works with sweet, with fresh. It's one of the spirits that if you don't know it, you think, oh, it's just smoke. It works with almost everything, man. It works with espresso. It works with maracuya, durazno, plums, peaches. It works with cucumber. It's just a spirit that's
well-rounded.
Yeah, man.
And people are yet to like experience it.
And I liked how you mentioned that people think it's all smoke. Like, it's not all smoke. Like, a lot of them don't. Like, what do you think of this? Like, if you were going to say, up to now, what we were tasting on smoke levels, which I'm ready for.
I don't
not smoke.
I don't. If I'm having a good spirit, like I'm having a good mezcal, I don't pick up any smoke anymore. My palate just doesn't pick up those notes. I see everything that's underneath that. But if I could, mezcal is what gin always hoped it could be. You know,
just in what it is too, though. Like, not infusing it, not adding stuff, right?
And that's like the gin. That's like the gin, you know. But mezcal is exactly what gin was hoping it could be with all the botanicals and with juniper and all that jazz. Mezcal is like, I speak Spanish. But
yes, I got sazon.
yes, sir.
So do they. Yeah.
And I also do believe, again, going back to social media has a lot to do with, you know, what mezcal is also. But aside from that, it's the raza. You know, I feel like that has a ginormous part in the movement, and us doing our part and pushing it out and talking about it, making cocktails with it, putting it on the map and, you know, extending it as far as we can. And I still think, like Moche said, it's just cracking. You know, we're just opening up the door still. I think there's a lot of room for people to learn and continue to try. So I think within the next few years, I definitely see it's still peaking.
Yeah.
Same with tequila. Tequila has been around for a very long time. And just these last few years, it's the top bestseller now when it comes to spirits.
To take out vodka says a lot, simply because of the price point.
I wanted to
vodka.
add something to what Ernie said, that it is the community and then the culture too. And then like every bottle has like their own story. So that right there is, I feel like people want to like learn more about it, taste it, know what's behind the story. And then like, just like the Latinos, dude, we bring the party, you know, like if there's a tasting with mezcal or tequila, you know, there's going to be some swag to it. There's going to be food. There's going to be some music. There's going to be, it's just like everybody wants to try that out, you know, like you can't miss it.
Yeah, I think you said it's the sazon.
The sazon, exactly.
Yeah, just so you know, our bar takeovers are called Con Sazon. Shout out to Chris. Yep, and we named it Con Sazon simply because of that, because we bring, it's adding flavor, rounds, blacks, people culture.
Yeah, I personally think that, you know, with the growth of tequila, it was a lot of social media, a lot of education. I still believe that with mezcal, we are like lacking a little more of that. So I definitely think there's still a lot of improvement that can be done so that it continues to peak. Personally, I love to see what people are in like Oaxaca, visiting distilleries. I don't think there's enough of that just yet. So hopefully we see more of that.
I think that's a great point, and like I back you up 100% on that. I think there's a big room for more education. Like I spend a lot and put a lot of time in my own personal education, and I look forward into like helping others, and like what I like to learn, I like to like pass on. You know what I mean? Like I get excited about learning something new, especially like you said, Mexico, the Hispanics, Latin America, like agave embarks all.
Yeah, I mean, agave is worldwide. I find agave in Peru, find it in Africa.
And I was gonna say something else you just mentioned about like the women and stuff. Like right now, we're gonna go on to this next one. This is female produced mezcal.
I don't know where.
This one is Mezcal Jaramillo. They're a brand out of Guanajuato, but this particular batch is produced in Zacatecas. And her father is like the one that has showed her how to produce this one. And I apologize, I forgot her name right now. I've met her several times when I was in Mexico City. She gave me this bottle and she told me we made this one in Zacatecas with agave salmiana. And we were talking about also smokiness. I wanted to introduce this one and see what you guys think.
I get that yellow little round fruit, like the ponche, no?
Tejocote.
It's like a it's like a yellow.
The one that they did at distilled when we were in fucking when we were in tequila.
No, that's a
Ciruela?
It's like in the bottom of the ponche. Is that like
It's tejocote. Tejocote. It's a little stone fruit.
Yeah,
Like a little apple.
you chew on it, you got the seed in the middle.
And the seed's like huge.
Yeah, that's what I get, like off my nose.
You're gonna call me candy.
I get plum for sure.
Whatever that is.
Yellow.
I get like a sour candy, like a sour out of it.
It's sour for sure.
So yeah.
Right? Yeah, I smell candy on this, like a sour candy at that.
I also smell little patitas apestosas.
But the taste is different right there. Like once you taste it, it's not what you smell.
You're gonna think I'm crazy too, but on that first taste,
It's good.
I tasted like a brand new box of crayons, bro. And that sounds weird because it's vinyls,
Yeah, waxy.
right? So those are like a lot of the chemicals and the compounds that we find in them. Sometimes we're like, that's weird and stuff. But like,
Clay
bro,
wax almost. But it's not done in clay pots, is it?
no. This is
Sponsored by Play-Doh.
Another interesting thing too is like even from the start of it, right? When they're cooking this agave, it's not cooked in an underground pit. This is cooked in a masonry oven above ground, the mamposteria. And the wood that they use too, instead of like hard wood, they use like dried pencas, dried cactuses. Sometimes they'll throw hardwood in there, but they have like a lot of that. So the fire doesn't burn so hot too.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. Like it's some of the different factors.
Yeah, it's almost similarities to like, and a lot of people that unless you really are into it, right, you understand that when you're doing a repoñejo extra, the barrels, some are new, some are charged, some are lightly charged, some reused barrels, and all that plays a part into what your finished product comes out to, right? And the key is for a lot of those tequila guys is to fundamentally make sure that the agave is still present and the oak hasn't taken over, which in the same essence, you would consider the same about mezcal. Make sure that the wood that was burned or whatever fibers you used to start that fire, that it doesn't take away from the agave itself.
Yeah.
It's funny, after I drank the first sip and I smelled it again,
Now, more
smelled crayons.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You smell that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't let them dictate what I know, bro. What brand and what version has mind control? I got mind control over Dima.
It changed after the sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
And it's cool you say that because that's a great point. So when I give like tastings and I guide people through tastings, I'm never like reading someone the tasting notes. We're like, you're gonna taste like right now we're discussing it. So what we taste, right? Yeah. It's like I will say like, what do you notice? Like right again, we're gonna taste our 5 flavor profiles that we taste. From there, your descriptions become what you taste. Acidic, you were said it smelled very acidic at first. Absolutely. I got a lot of acidity too.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does that acidity mean to us, right? So that chemicalness for me was the Crayola. And I'll say Crayola because I was a Crayola too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you said that because when I said evaporated milk, I was like, dude, they're going to come after me. Oh, man. I'm like, what the heck is this guy?
And that's a common aroma. It's not
Better cheese.
Yeah, the quesito.
At the end, better cheese.
Like straight up feta. You ever cup?
That's crazy.
That's great.
Now thinking about it, I was like, yeah, you're right. You get that cheese.
That's crazy. And that's been pretty complex.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of everything.
That's been my most exciting so far as
Taste. Yeah, that was a little complex and a little all over the place.
shout out to the women, man.
Yeah, shout out to the ladies. For real.
Yeah. I'm telling
They
you,
get down.
yeah. They dictate, man, a lot of the market.
Do you guys on the complexity that we have here, do you guys find that you're getting you like to experiment, or are you trying different things in your cocktails that like innovative
I'm
thing?
all about experience, man, and experimenting. And I get into fucking headbutts debates with some of my mezcalero friends because they believe that no, if you make cocktail with mezcal, it should only be espadín.
It's a great point. I'm glad you're bringing this up right now. Okay,
Yeah, man.
I know where it's going.
And it's, yeah,
And that's why I'm laughing, because
look, man.
The purist, we could
First
say,
and
right?
foremost, if you consume said spirit, if you buy said agaves, if you whatever you buy, but if you want to pour the bottle down the fucking drain, you pay for it, right? Now, is it right? No, it's not. But it's not my decision, and it's not my part to play a role in. But I also believe that with great cocktails, a great spirit should be used always. So for some cocktails that I've made Naked and Famous, Last Words. I made old fashions with tobalas, with jabalís, with ensembles,
arroqueño.
with arroqueños, and they're fucking phenomenal, bro.
But I think he made such a great point, because I was very against it in the beginning, and I was like, "That's crazy."
But then what?
That's like, that's like you pouring like a 15, 20-year bottle, Macallan or Weller's or something like that,
And having a mule,
so, right?
And making a mule.
Very controversial. But then he's like, well, if you think of it as like from a hospitality view, if I go to a bar and I order a paloma with an espadín, it's $10, right? Hey, let's take it to the next level, and let's order the same paloma with another fruit and with an arroqueño. Now you have a $20 cocktail.
But you know what else too? And I don't mean to cut off because I love where this is going. When we're talking about the Weller, like the whiskeys, right? Like a 20-year, like there, and figurative was going to say like a 40-year, a 50-year,
Lands all
like that. I could kind of see like that's crazy because they're thinking it took so long for this whiskey to, but a whiskey is infusing the flavors of that barrel, right? Whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 30.
It's different aging.
It's different aging, but I'm going back to the complexity of the agave. Let's say a tepestate that took 20 years to mature. That's crazy. It took 20, like, you can't do that. It's 20, okay. But now we're talking about those complexities, the different flavor profiles that exist there. And with what you're saying is like, I think mixology has come such a long way that if you get like a good blend of flavors that are enhancing balance, like you're not just like pouring it over Coke and making a charro negro with like right, but it's like, yo, I'm gonna get some fresh, because I saw you guys, I know all three of you mess with like fresh ingredients, like putting everything down, and it's like, I'm gonna get some beet juice, some fresh beet juice, because this is gonna balance out like the minerality of
I did a Naked and Famous with shout out to Malbien and the homies, Ben and the homies from Malbien. I did a Naked and Famous with the tepestate from Malbien. And all I smelled above all ingredients on the nose, on the cocktail itself, was the tepe. And when I tasted it, it's like everything was there, but the core was the tepestate. That shit was fucking great. Where the espadín would have gravitated towards the rest of the ingredients to be like, hey, I'm here. The tepe was like, nah, this is my cocktail. Yes, this is my fucking cocktail. Anything around it is just, the chartreuse is just little homie. And that shit was phenomenal, man. And yes, if I charged you for that, it would probably be like $35, so minimal.
But there are people who want to experiment and try, like, why not, right? Again, he said it like where it's just like, if they want to pay to upgrade to a tepestate or an arroqueño, and aside from an espadín, why not? And I was completely against it, again, because that's the culture we're raised in. Like, no, you can't use an extra añejo in paloma. Why?
Why not?
Why not? But I do think it takes it to the next level, especially mezcal, because mezcal is so complex by the plant, by the distiller. Every bottle is almost different. So if you can make a cocktail of it and it tastes amazing, why not?
Take away the age. Let's say you don't know the age, and I give you, let's just forget about age in barrels with whiskey. Forget about age in tequila with age. and the age of agaves. I give you a cocktail and one tastes better than the other. Do you care about the age? Care about the taste, right? So the thing about that is that simply we pay respect to what time of maturity it took to have set spirit, right? Most of my drinks, I drink neat. I drink neat all the time, unless I know the bartender and I trust in the bartender, and I'm like, and typically I'm like, maybe whatever, what I could, because I trust in that.
And it's like you said right now, it's like recognizing the profiles of the spirits that like, and being conscious of what you're putting in there and why, right? Because I get it like in a basic bar that's just like, oh, our well drink, and like we'll make, oh, I want it with a tequila or a mezcal. On a basic level, like, yeah, I'll just pour this. But it's like, okay, if you're trying a different expression of a different one, like, hey, why? Like, here's why. Like, these are the flavors. This is what you're.
Let's not forget where we're at. You know, when I'm not going to TGIF and telling something. Right? Yeah. But if I'm going to an enthusiast and someone that I know and trust, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and elevate set agaves, because I'm already familiar and constantly learning the spirits that I consume now. But if I want to try it with the ingredient or with the liqueur or with the cordial or with soda water or carbonation, take me there. Show me what my senses might call out, because I might fall in love with it. You know, we have to remember, we consume said spirit to enlighten us, and to be enlightened, we have to try new things. So the direction of that is in the constant premise that I'm going to continue to push forward is I'm going to go ahead and challenge my enthusiasts and say, hey, let me take this spirit. You know, we might take a Cascoine that was limited to nobody else, and make a mule with it.
Well, tell me a bit about, I saw like you guys get together and like do R&D days, and like you'll have, like, we have all the spirits out right now we're tasting, but that looks like a lot of fun, and a lot of thought goes into tasting spirits, making blends. Like what's that about? Like, you guys
It's
you know what I mean?
It's homework, man. The last one, it's constant homework. It's making sure that our cocktails are tasting as they should be and they're appropriated. You know, one of the more popular cocktails right now is the espresso martini, right? So we always talk shit, and we're like, how thick is your foam?
What's that? A special
Espresso.
Oh yeah.
He's kidding. But yeah, just, you know, it's a constant learning basis as to know where the market is now and what we can do to progress it, right? Yeah, what can we do that's more exciting? One of the things that we did for the holiday drive that Ernie had set up, I had some clarified cucumber shots. Actually, clarified cucumber margarita, but I converted it into a shot, and I approached it as a shot. And I told everybody, here, take this shot. Half the crowd is like, oh, I don't like shots. And I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not a shot per se. It's a cocktail. It looks, because clarified looks like water. I'm like, there's cucumber, there's mezcal, there's agave, there's lime. And Ernie told me to run with that. He's like, run with it, dude. He's like, clarify. He's like, and I told him, like, I'm gonna go and clarify shots for the year, and that's something that I actually want to approach. And making not so much just the cocktail itself, but making shots that are clarified because they look transparent. It looks like
it's a visual experience.
And it's a flavor ball.
And talk about because I clarified was something new to me. I'm gonna pour this next one up. Can you explain a little bit when you say clarified, what that?
No, I was gonna say the clarifying shots is like a way to disrupt the market, also. Because it's unheard of. There's
These are thin right here. I don't know if you guys want. I just brought this much.
The process of clarifying takes so much time. For you to pour it as a shot is like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, that took so much time and work.
Yeah.
Like, you should put that on a big block and just sip it. Like, for someone to just pour it as a shot and rip it, you're just like, that's crazy. But again, you're disrupting the market. And there was, I forgot who did this on social media, but they made a whiskey and Coke, and they made it with like a super special batch of like Blantons.
Well, homeboy, I forgot.
And everyone lost their mind of like, how could you, I can smell the elote in this.
I want you guys to taste it. We'll get back to clarifying. This is a special one here.
Oh yeah, just passing it, I could smell it.
Yeah, this is my friend Julian Rodriguez. Again, I met him. We're getting more feedback here, but this is a good close friend of mine that they're from the Chontal region in Oaxaca, which is in the Istmo, which is the most southern mezcal producing region of Oaxaca. There's not a lot of mezcal production there, but this is really good for a different level. I'll say you smelt it right away. This is distilled with elote, but it's a destilado con, but it's not like the Vago one. The Vago one's really good, but that one's a toasted maíz. This one is just the raw elote. The corn is put in there raw. And also it's not puntas, but it's not adjusted when the distillation came out, the huerco came out. So it's just straight up how it came out. So this one's, we got 62% ABV here. Saludcita. And I hope to help him export this here one day, because I really love sharing this with people, and that's a little project I have in the future. I hope that this is a brand that I could introduce him.
Malay Rakers on the taste. That's good.
Oh, real quick.
And it's with a pelon verde. A pelon verde is an angustifolia, which is similar to an espadín, but it doesn't have the thorns. It doesn't have the spines on that, so that's why they call it the pelon verde. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the black licorice right away, huh?
Yeah, on the tongue.
Honor y amor.
I'll do an esquite cartel, this one.
Yeah.
Clarify with mayonnaise.
Yeah, ski stick cocktail.
That's the rim will be mayo with the cheese, the chili powder.
And mayo rim.
It tastes kind of funky to me too. Like when you first crack like some of that, a can of corn.
Yeah.
That
I would actually do
liquid
old-fashioned with this.
yeah.
Okay.
Do it, man.
What's the ABV?
62.
Oh, what?
It's not
that tastes like a 6.
It's not that smoky for me. I don't know if it's because I had several other mezcales, but
Do we get a cup of their camera now?
Right, thank you.
That's really tasty.
It's fire.
that's good, dude.
Old-fashioned with the mole bitters.
Wow, tar.
Yes, sir. Rico.
But we were talking. Yeah, I really like this one. We were talking about. I cut it off when I wanted to pour this one. We were talking about the clarification. Yeah, and disrupting.
So the exciting thing with clarifying is simply because clarification just takes away the bite.
Oh wait, but say how you clarify, because to me that was.
It's probably the process of like.
Yeah.
The process of clarification has to do with typically you're doing dairy, but you can do you do heavy cream, some type of base that the citrus can
Quag in it, or is it like?
Yeah, like curdle with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
leaves the process to curdle.
Yeah.
So visually, I mean, I'm just saying that because you guys are like, oh yeah, we
visually,
but like,
yes.
dude, that's what I'm saying. When I tasted my first one and they described it and then showed me, I was like, huh? I had a clarified Paloma in Tlecan in Mexico City. They have, shout out to them. They have some badass cocktails too. But I was like, it's like the Paloma Blanca, and I was like, oh, cool. And it's like, how did you? And I was like, milk. And so yeah, explain that. Like, dude, visually, if you guys
Once you say milk or cream,
They run away.
they're like, so there's dairy in this? I'm like, no, there's no dairy. And dairy's
I
got.
mean, I feel like everyone may have a little bit of a different process, but I think the easiest way to do it is just you build your batch. That's, including your spirit, your juice, your citrus, maybe a sugar. Once you build your batch, according to the batch, you have to measure out a certain amount of dairy. Typically, what we do is just like whole milk.
Yeah, and for us, measurements has been 1/3. I've seen so many videos that we did homework on. They say a quarter of your yield, whatever your total is, you do a quarter. A third, I think works. Yeah, I think it works great for us on as far as like flavor profiles to be present and clarification going through. But yeah.
So you essentially add the milk to your batch, and then you kind of let it sit overnight or a few hours. People do hours. I feel like for us, what's worked best is overnights. So then in the morning, when you pop it open, it's all curdled. And so what happens is that milk, you give it like a light mix before you close it off. In the morning you open it, it's curdled up. What it does is it pulls all the impurities out of the cocktail, and then it all kind of curdles to the top. So then you set up strainers, like a strainer station. We do strainers and like cheesecloth or even
coffee filters.
Coffee filters, and you start to strain the batch. So you strain it with the curdle pieces into your vessel, and essentially the curdle acts as a filter as well.
Yeah, it acts as a filter, and then basically what you get is like a slow drip coffee. From your slow drip coffee, you're gonna let it drip for just a minute, 2 minutes to let that cloudiness come out, and then you transfer over again. You reintroduce that cloudiness into the top of yours, and then it should be a clear path from there. What you're getting is a cocktail with no bite, and it's going to be more of a viscosity. It has more of a mouth feel like you actually would with the mezcal, with like a velvety. Yep. So you get rid of any type of bite. So you can, typically when I'm doing clarified, I'm doing a higher proof because I just feel like it sits and mellows out with all the other ingredients. But it's exciting because typically for the mind, when you see something that's clear, you don't think heavy, you don't think sugars, even if there's sugars involved. And pouring a clarified cocktail over a big block with a dehydrated garnish, it's just looks out of this world. And then if you're telling them, there's cucumber in there, so there's this and this and this, and they're like, no, there's not. There's just water. And then you're tasting it like, whoa. Yeah. So for that event that Ernie had set up, I decided to pour those out because I had spare, because we already had a cocktail menu, and I bought it as a gesture, and I poured them as shots. And everyone that had it, they were like, mine, Bill, because they were like, we can taste the mezcal. And for the people that didn't like mezcal, they're like, this is good. This mezcal's awesome.
Yeah.
And they can taste the pepino. They can pick up the notes. And if they were paying more attention, they were able to pick up maybe all of it, or maybe they were just shooting some shit. Who knows? Yeah. Either way, they found it exciting. So I was like, you know what? This clarified shot thing might be a thing. So that's something that I'm working on this year. And
But I feel like also like the cool thing about it is that it's kind of like unheard of for like private events. It's unheard of outside of like these high-end, top-notch bars.
for sure.
So, the fact that we're able to introduce something like this to you that we go to, and typically, again, it takes a long time.
Once my idea gets stolen, because it will. Which is cool, because that just means that I'm doing something. You're looking, hey, you're not finding no clarified shots for like less than $19. Oh yeah,
because the process takes.
That's awesome. Not only that, it's like you got to consider ingredients in right. You order a pour that's neat, and it's $14 pour. That's $14 for the pour. So if you order a cocktail, you ordered it as a cocktail, it's going to be $4 to $6 more because the ingredients play the part. Now,
so how about a clarified cocktail? What do those?
I've never seen a clarified cocktail go for less than $20. Yeah.
That's pretty cheap for thinking of what you just mentioned right now here. Because cocktails are.
Got to think of your locations, right? Like there's a couple bars out that I've seen do some really exciting stuff, and they're charging $14 for a cocktail. And I think that's beyond fair. Most places are going to charge $18 to $24 for a cocktail right now, and that's the market average right now in Los Angeles, right?
Okay. I kind of want to pour another one. That last one was fire to me. I want to pour another one, but I want to open this up to, you were talking about like introducing the clarified shots, things coming this year. What are some other things that we could expect, things that you are excited about, any future plans that you guys got coming out, something you guys want people to know to hit you up?
Hoppy, you go first, as I feel like I'm rambling on this side.
And what should what? Dealer's choice. You guys.
Dealer's choice, my man.
I haven't had this one. Let's go with Rodacanta here. Or Moche.
Yeah, a little of that Gentos was shout out Leo from our guests.
Yeah.
Shout out Leo.
What do you have exciting coming up, my man?
Well, for me, it's just continue to, make some margaritas. Just stay busy. Right now, I have a lot of plans, but it's just continue to just provide our service.
The planning is hard. One of the things that we've talked about is doing the mixology class that I know you experimented with it, and it's something that we talked about doing together. But the planning's hard, right? Like across the board. What I don't know. Planning and life happens differently for everybody. But is that something that you still want to do this year? If
Of course.
out?
I mean, that's something that me and you talked about, that we want to, introduce, team up and provide a different service besides just mobile bartending. Also, teach our clients that about mezcal, having you, present it to them and teaching them. But of course, just making some good drinks. That's my thing. It's just like, if you guys hired us, you guys want what we serve, is like, that's where we're gonna show up and make those drinks and have a good time. But it's always like just trying our best to provide like the best quality drinks and have some fun.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna actually switch it up, guys, because we tasted this right when we started, right? This is the one that we cheers with.
Yeah.
And so, how about the Rufina?
Yeah, jump with the roofie.
This one.
Leo is a guest that I want to have on here soon as well to talk about the project of the different mezcales that Rufina shares.
So shout out my big dog Leo. You love these guys. Yeah, they're amazing. That's familia. This is an ensamble of jabalito, la antepastate, which is, just phenomenal, man.
And quick tip, we have 5 glasses each. We're going beyond the 5 right now. So what I like to do is I pour the water in there, swirl it, and then clean my mouth out.
Oh, I got like 2 drops of water in there. I'm gonna have to lick the inside of this glass.
Mescal water, the best.
What about you, Ernie? What's coming up this year that you want to?
Man, every year I try to grow as much as I can as a brand. So kind of what Esteban said is just growing the brand itself. My goal this year is to just kind of do less, more quality over quantity type stuff. I want to get. Last year I had the amazing opportunity to work with a lot of different brands, and I really love that. So I would love to do more of that going into 2025. As far as that, yes, I also do business consulting. So I consult other mobile bars who are up and coming and are looking to do what I'm doing. So if I could do that as well, that'd be pretty amazing. I already had one client this year, so.
And what does that look like? Would you like to say like, hey, if you're interested in you're starting, like just reach out, DM you or something, or you have a program that people?
Yeah. So what it really is, it's whether you're looking to start or you've already started and you just don't know which route to go, or you have questions. A lot of it is just not knowing. And I think with 8 years of being in the industry and specializing in mobile bartending, I feel like I have some really good game and knowledge when it comes to that. And I have a big saying, it's community over competition. And if I can help you grow and you succeed, well, great, right? Because I feel like there's enough for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do everything myself. Esteban does a great job of doing a lot of events himself too. He can't touch everything. So why not help them grow? And, I can help them do it the right way as well.
And what does that look like? I love to hear that because it's going, when you can't do something yourself and you know that you need to grow a team, you need to reach out. On a mobile bartending side or like an event side, what does that look like? What do those events look like that when you say like you need to hire more or like it's not like you're going from birthday parties or like gatherings, galas, I don't know, what kind of events does that look like? Do you know what I mean? Like, did that make sense, my question?
Take another sip.
Does that make sense? Let me ask myself,
What makes sense, look.
But like, how big of an event? So like, how big of a team do you bring in
Oh, like per event type deal.
Yeah.
Just
Damn, that was freaking bomb.
crazy, right? This is great.
I think each event obviously is different. I have my policy and standards of how we approach each event. And there's days where I use all of my staff, and there's days where I don't use all of them. I just maybe use half. It kind of varies. It's just every system, every bartender has their own way of kind of doing these things. So I feel like it kind of varies per person. I know that I can only do so much. So at that point, I feel like I could either pass it on, and that's where it kind of plays in, where someone new can kind of maybe step in and try to take it on.
Cool.
But I mean, aside from that, I feel like, the business consulting, growing my own brand, I just want to take my industry to the next level. I don't consider myself a pioneer by any means, but I do think that I do challenge myself and others around me to be able to take it to the next level. And that's what I just want to continue to do.
Dope.
Yeah.
To elevate for sure.
Yeah.
About you, man?
I'm just here to drink, bro.
2025 is for drinking.
Definitely more of that. Trips to Oaxaca.
Trips.
Yeah, tell me about the recent trips you guys took. Was it both of you went to a distillery in Jalisco
We went to
on a brand trip?
We did actually back-to-back years, and
Yeah, we did 23 and 24.
we went to Jalisco.
Was it a brand trip? Like it was with a group, right? How did that work?
For both trips, we actually went with Tequileño. Shout out Gina, Gigi, all of this. Choche and everybody else with the Tequileño familia fucking Leo. But yeah, it was phenomenal, man. We've been able to tap in with a handful of brands out there, and I think the biggest thing is brands that we admire. Tequileño, Fortaleza, Arete, Cascanes, Cascawin. Big shout out to Chava. And this last trip we went out, we went with Ryan with Happiest Hours and Lana. From there, we organized a 20 person trip.
Is that they're from Corona?
Yep.
Corona.
Happiest Hours, liquor store, liquor provider, bar,
Fine wines and spirits store.
Yeah, finally, I can't even call it a liquor store. It's like a whole conglomerate in there.
Yeah.
Jordan, everybody else that gets their cameraman Nate, they just have a phenomenal team, man. But yeah, we took a big trip out there, and we wanted to let people experience what we experienced the first time out there. And it was funny because, mind you, Ernie and I have known each other for a few years now. And I think where me and my boy really tapped in is when we went to Mexico 2 years ago, and we were literally digging into spaces like, again, I'm not from Mexico, so everything for me there is a new experience. And, so we got to tap in and meet these people and experience these moments that were just things that we won't forget. And, we worked directly with Tequileño. We went out there for a dub set for our first level sommelier program. We passed. And we're looking to go back out there this year to get to push for our level 202. My goal, I would love to get to level 4. That's where we're able to, fucking build the foundation, go to La Capilla, go to Ixtete, meet Renee and his family from Atanasio. Like, just feel fucking humbled and so thankful to meet so many people in this industry that welcomed us with open arms. Everywhere we went was like love from the jump.
Yeah.
And mind you, like I'm a pretty loud personality, bro. Like I'm if there's someone that's the life of the party, like I don't shut down at all.
This guy, anywhere Moche goes, it's definitely a party.
I don't shut down. If you hear that fucking laugh, it's gonna echo with you.
But I think what's dope about these brand trips, not only are they fun, they're extremely educational.
Fuck, man.
So the first time we went out there, again, is to take our W set 1. So we did have fun, but we also had to sit there in class and learn and study, and then take a test in order to be qualified as a W set 1, which is, what is it? Your Wine Spirits Education Trust. And it's cool because, you get invited to these things, and Moche was the one who kind of started it, invited me, and then next thing you know, we built a good relationship with the people out there. We got to take our own group out there. And now we just built such a good connection that's like, hey, like, what can we do this again? And so we are looking to go back this year to take our W set 2. And then for him to get his W set 4, at that point, you can become a trainer. Become a teacher. You can travel the world and teach about spirits.
So, I mean, to circle back to 2025, I mean, I bartend over a bar, and I bartend with Ernie as well. And, so I've kind of, with private events, my loyalties with Ernie and Liquid Courage. So if it's a private event, if I'm not doing it by myself, if I'm doing it with anybody, it's typically gonna be with him. I'll just cut you out, back dog. If you need it, just let me know. but simply because like I've seen my boy's passion for what he does and things of that nature. And I've also seen a lot of mobile bartenders that I know personally and I've met that are fucking hustlers, man, and they have the same drive and they influence me. But I bartended restaurants, clubs, hotels, and whatnot. But the one thing that I stepped into and one thing that I want to really dive into for myself is consulting and brand work. Those are my two biggest drives for this year, is more social media content to work with these brands. I've had these discussions with folks, and I'm building a concept to give them a platform to help them grow, and also give them a tier program to let them go ahead and captivate the program for them. I have a videographer. It's Christian. Shot by Christian. If you don't know, Shot by Christian, follow him on Instagram. Guy is fucking awesome. Most of my content is done by him. But not to cut out anybody else. If you guys want to tap in, go ahead. Nate did my video for gasoline, which is phenomenal. Which I know Christian's gonna feel jealous about that. But content work and consulting is the avenue that I want to dive into. I've worked, and when I say I worked in these locations and I still continue to work, it's awesome, it's amazing, it's great. But I also feel that the standard that I learned early on is that no one will ever meet the standard and the etiquette and the way I approach consumers, customers, clients, and I don't think it will ever get there until I have my own brick and mortar. So the only other way for me to be satisfied with the work that I can put out there is by just consulting and working with brands that I know, believe in, and also having a high standard. I have a very high standard in how I approach things. I might shoot the shit with people. I might joke around, but a high standard is just proper etiquette, man. That's just what I like, And it's also the reason that I like to drink good spirits. I'm a big enthusiast. Is consider what you put into your body. Yeah, we're not supposed to be drinking so much alcohol. I drink a fair amount, but I also try to treat my body the right way.
Good, man. Right on, dude. What about? I think we're coming close to a wrap. I think that was a cool thing. Any advice to people or to reach out to you, consulting services? Any like dream brands that like? Is there someone in your target?
That's a great question.
Those smiles, man.
I mean, ultimately, the goal is to be able to work with these brands exclusively, closely, and do something cool with them also. And I think now, between like 23, 24, 25 this year, mobile bartenders are on the map, man. Before we were kind of shunned, and I always say that we were like the stepchildren, like pushed to the side. We don't work at brick and mortars. But I feel like now, thanks to like people like Esteban, myself, and some of the other great mobile bartenders, like they're starting to see the potential of what we can really bring to the table, and it's really cool. It's exciting. Ultimately, yeah, we have brands that we would love to work with and build relationships with, and I feel like slowly but surely we're getting there, man. And it's not just agave brands. That's one thing that me and Moche talk about all the time is we'll never niche in. As much as we love agave, we're always open to working with whiskey brands, vodka brands, rums, liqueur brands, you name it. We're open.
I love some of Marl's.
Yeah,
I love some of Marl's, but yeah, man.
Our love will always be there for agave. But again, as business owners, we have to keep our options open. And I'm excited to be able to work and do cool things within the industry.
Right on, man.
Yeah, man. This platform is amazing because this will be able to give people the introduction. Like we'll get them. Like I said, for me, I work over a bar. I worked mobile bars, and I've always said, like, with the standard, like, you see Marcel Papi's page and you see the way he approaches his business. You see Ernie, the way he approaches his business. These aren't just your prototypical. We all go to events and we all see those bartenders that just pour the juice, pour the spirit. And typically it's like a whole caprisa, like a whole Ferrari. And they grab it and, you know, they don't stir nothing. They don't shake nothing. They just do it to you. That's not what you see from these guys when they're making cocktails, man. They're elevating it. They're doing dry shakes. They're stirring and they're giving you orange peel, not orange wet, which are old fashioned. So, you know, it's a constant homework for bartenders, right? To continuously, gradually grow. You know, and that's the biggest thing. Like with my business and the way I approach things, I always say, my personality is dive bartender, but my execution, I want to go for speakeasy. But I don't want to be. I can never be a speakeasy bartender because I'd get kicked out by the owner like that.
What is a speakeasy bartender?
A speakeasy bartender is a bartender that says, "Don't fucking talk to me. Don't look at me."
What?
Work.
That's what
I'm cheer for the crowd.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So if you go to a speakeasy bar, you're gonna see that they don't want to talk to you.
Hello.
Yeah, it's gonna be way more. It's just more efficient work, and their execution might be on point, bro. But I also like going to a bar where I can see a bartender like keep a high standard. If I'm seeing you shake here, stir here, close out a check there, take an order there, that's the bar. That's my guy, 100%. Now if you can spin with two hands on the mixing glass, that's awesome. If your double shake is great, but you don't want to talk. Like I go to the bar for social hour. I go to the bar to relax, shoot the shit. That's my concept for the bar.
Like a therapist. Yeah, you
200%. I want to go shoot the shit. I want to tell. I don't care if you don't like me. I want to tell you about my day.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a therapist office for adults. That's how I've always treated it. Flow it, man. Your girl left you. You left your girl. You ain't got no money. You're broke. You got fucked. You got fired. You got a promotion. It's a platform for grown adults to open up, to engage, no judgment, and to engage. That is the platform of a bar, and that's the reason that I fell in love with the bar. So if I can be that mediator to go ahead and get you whatever drink that you want and navigate you, not just give you what you want, because more times than not, as a consumer, I will scoff at you and I will guide you and show you what you should have and introduce you to something better. It's also we're educators. We're therapists, we're educators, we're babysitters. Terminology doesn't stop, man, what we do, you know, and that's exactly why, you know, heavy lies the crown that sits on the head, man. You know, bartenders, female, males, it's a lot of responsibility. We also have to make sure you get home safe. So, right. And it takes a lot for us to do the job that we do, man. And that's why we also control your atmosphere too. You know, we want to be a dick. Out of here, 86. Yeah, out of here. Yeah, it's an exciting hustle, man, and it's one of the, and it's and that fact itself, it's a hustle. So that's why I always say I'm a shark. I never stop moving.
Dope, man. Well, with that said, I think we came to an end of our rounds. I love that we went through an array of different mezcales, agave spirits here. I loved the discussion with you guys. I love the work that you guys are doing through Mixology and really bringing these spirits to people. I love the fact that you guys are going to further your education, to share that education with others. So I'm excited to see what 2025 brings for you guys. I look forward to working with you guys more in the future, seeing you guys at events and seeing how this develops. And with that said, I think we could wrap this up. We'll keep drinking. Right? But
yes, that sounds ideal.
Good stuff in here. Hey, thank you for having us. Cheers, bro.
Thank you. Make sure to follow Moche Sips, Liquid Courage LA, Mescal Papi, and Mescal Buzz. Thank you guys. Catch you next time.
Sir.
What's up?